Now, here's a topic we'll start off with, and we probably will probably pretty much go with the whole show with this, to be honest with you, because we haven't talked movies, TV, none of this. And our buddy Jared, who's the producer of the show, said last week, we need to talk about TV and movies and how the movie industry is changing and how actors and actresses are jumping to TV now.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a great conversation. So Jared, I think there he is in the control panel.
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Jared?
Yeah. So, Jared, I know me and Cole, as you know, we love movies and TV, and Corey can pretty much he's memorized the whole script from The Godfather, so he knows that. So we like to talk about this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So your big thing was, and I agreed with you. You said the movie industry's changing.
Yeah. I think just in the past couple of years, I've noticed it. Like a lot of the big actors that we used to see exclusively, in the theaters, are now moving to streaming. Or
Jared,
TV.
before you go any further, with that, do you believe that this is because of COVID?
Oh,
So go ahead and now go ahead and get into your spiel.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think COVID didn't help.
Okay.
COVID gave us a lot of time to sit around and just watch TV shows all day, and I think people got accustomed to that.
Okay.
That binging as its own format.
And I think too, Jared. I think COVID kind of changed things to where you're seeing a lot of reboots.
Oh,
because
yeah.
people got into these shows.
That is really one of the first things that I wanted to bring up. I'm
Sure.
going to put up on screen here. This is the domestic box office currently for 2025.
Oh, wow.
So it gives you in ranking of dollars that was earned in the box office for all of the movies this year, and 6 of the top 10 are reboots already.
Wow.
You got a Minecraft movie, Captain America, Mufasa, Snow White, Sonic, Moana, and I'm not really sure what the other ones are. They could be
Did you
reboots
say
too.
does
But
that say Snow White was above Moana?
it looks like it. Yeah.
Snow White. So wait a minute.
Well, and you got to remember, Moana was released in November 27 of last year. So
Okay.
Moana had probably a couple weeks in the box office.
Okay, I see
in
what you're saying.
2025.
I don't know what mine. Okay, so you said Mufasa. Now
Yeah.
was that?
That's
That's the Lion
Lion
King.
King.
Right?
It's the
so it's the
prequel.
Lion King again.
Yeah, they did the live action Lion King like 3 years ago or something,
Okay.
and they followed it up with Mufasa, which I didn't even hear about until looking
which
into
is,
this.
I believe, the prequel to Lion King. Mufasa was
Okay.
Simba's dad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Lion King was good though. But go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, isn't it funny though? Like none of those movies appeal to me that are up on that screen. None.
I didn't see the whole list. Go
Minecraft.
back to the whole.
That's pretty much a kids movie.
Okay.
Captain America. How many times are they going to have? Now that's a different Captain America too.
I didn't like Captain America when it was Captain America.
Right.
Like the cartoon. I didn't get into that.
Sinners.
They said that was pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, that's a reboot. That's a new.
No.
Oh, okay.
Mufasa is.
Oh, Mufasa.
Yeah.
Okay. Sinners.
I
okay.
don't know what Dogman is. Do you know what Dogman is?
I think it's an animated movie.
Ah, jeez.
That's where the
Yep.
money's at.
Dog man, half dog and half man is sworn to protect.
Well, it's gross 97 mil.
Yeah.
I must be
I'm
getting
okay.
old.
Hey, I'm okay with Dogman. I don't have to ever see that.
Yeah, but we see here Snow White, which I had heard was a complete flop.
That's what I heard too.
Who played it?
There was 2 big names that played. Was it Gail Gadot? Was in that? I think it was Gail Gadot.
Was it?
And they didn't. The witch and her didn't get along.
So don't take it away. Keep it the same way.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a live action reboot of Snow White.
Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the witch.
Yeah.
Should have used Hallie. As Snow White
Well, you might be right on that, but
or Snow Mixed.
that's true. But yeah, so Mufasa, you knew that was going to get a high box
Okay,
office.
with Mufasa, take me back to the Lion King. Did Mufasa die in Lion King?
in the Lion King.
So he's back?
No. This is a prequel.
Oh, okay.
This is
okay.
the story about his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're doing a lot. I mean,
I like the Lion King. I just can't remember. It's been so long.
The other thing about the Lion King too is, if you didn't know, it's actually an adaptation of a Shakespeare play, Hamlet.
Oh.
Is actually the Lion King. A lot of people don't know that. But
Wow.
No, I
the
didn't know
original
that
is a
either.
reboot in of itself.
I think, look at this smart guy.
I know,
I think we
right?
should add a smart topic. Did you know? And let Jared come up with it.
Yeah, I think so too.
People don't realize that. You know, that's interesting. I had no idea.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your perception on how this is all changing? And I know we said COVID.
Yeah.
We thought COVID was changing things, but is it just the way that they had to redo, like they had to keep some things going during COVID, and they realized they could do things a lot cheaper?
And it's reversed. It used to be TV to movie. Now it's movie to TV.
Yeah.
You know, TV stars used to go, that was their big break, get the movie. Now it's,
Right.
Because,
Go
I
ahead,
mean, I watched Yellowstone,
Mm-hmm.
and 1923 is a prequel to Yellowstone. That's got Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sorry, and Timothy, the guy that played Lincoln.
yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
see that. When
Yeah.
I heard he came back, because
Yeah.
he retired.
Yeah,
He stopped acting.
yeah.
He's great.
But you're seeing it a lot of these, like you see it in a lot of the Taylor Sheridan stuff. Landman, you got Billy Bob Thornton in that.
Good
Demi
actor.
Moore, John Hamm.
Yep.
What else you seeing out there, Jared?
I mean, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of. I mean, I looked at this article earlier this week. It was an AARP article, and it talked about how a lot of actors over 50 are moving to TV. But in my mind, it's all actors in general are kind of moving towards TV. And I mean, it goes back to the COVID thing, like movies and the movies that they put into theaters right now. Experience, I suppose, has told them that like news stories don't work as well, and they don't draw the crowds into the theaters.
Really?
It's hard to believe for me because I don't really go to see any of these reboots. But I suppose, I guess the biggest movie-going market or audience out there right now is children and families.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jared, because of this, do you think it is? So, do movies, are movies getting to Netflix or those streaming like right away? Like you can have it in the theater, and then it goes right to, you see it go. Is that, do you see that? Like,
Absolutely. And
Okay.
To the filmmakers, filmmakers definitely do not want that. They want to see their movies in a theater.
okay,
Like,
all right.
like I do. Like last year, did you guys see this is a remake, but the Roadhouse remake?
No, I didn't see that.
It was
I did.
very good.
Really?
You liked it, Jared?
I liked it.
It wasn't bad.
Because that is a classic.
I didn't see the original
original?
first.
Okay,
so
go
this
back,
was
yeah.
my first.
Okay.
Well, if you see the original, you'll like it.
Yeah, you'll like it.
It's definitely very 80s.
Shout to Swayze. So who played Swayze in this one?
Gyllenhaal.
Yep,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Really?
It was actually really good.
I got to see this.
I liked it.
And Conor McGregor was in it.
He was. He
Yeah.
was great in it.
He
Yeah.
played the guy that was beating everybody up. It was actually it was kind of like the original, but it was a little different too.
Little twisty?
Yeah, it was a little
Yeah.
twisty.
So I can go on demand and get this?
You can. You
Yeah.
can only go on demand to get this.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
Is when it was released last year, the director, there's this whole YouTube video about it, where the director came out and he basically said that Jeff Bezos had promised, it was an Amazon film, Jeff Bezos had promised the director a theatrical release of some sort. And when it came time to theatrically release the film, they kind of took that back and they put it right onto streaming. And the director of the film came out and said, it's like, this isn't a film for streaming. It's a party movie. You're meant to go and watch it with your friends. It's supposed to be a good time in the movie theaters. And so that has happened to more films than
How
that
long did
film.
it stay in the theater, Jared?
It wasn't in the theater.
Oh, well, that's what
at
I
all.
thought. Yeah, because I thought I when it first came out, I watched it right off of Amazon. Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Well, I got to check that out. Every time Roadhouse comes on, I watch it. The old one. Yeah.
It was actually really good.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Very, like you said, very 80-ish. Now, Jared, what is the money like? So is the money $25 million, of film? Like, how are they divvying up this cash to get to the TV? What is the difference inside? Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard too much about that. I think you hear a lot more of that in the music industry.
Okay.
As things move to streaming, artists get lower and lower cuts. But honestly, what I have heard about it is like independent films, films that were made outside of Netflix, maybe like just fresh out of college, somebody raises money independently, makes a film. Those people have been succeeding even more so in the streaming market because Netflix is willing to go and buy that movie from them and give them a profit on that film, whereas before they'd have to try and find somebody to put it into theaters and hold it there for a certain period of time.
Shady business, yeah.
Right. The streaming is such a direct access to your audience that it's become easier for independent films.
Yeah. So this is better for an up-and-coming director or writer.
Yeah.
Streaming this is the way to go. It's a little easier.
Right.
Well, obviously, it's a little easier to get into a stream or on an app.
Sure.
So like a major app. So if a up-and-coming director comes in, I want to get on Netflix, it's much easier to go to Paramount. To Hollywood. Is that what
exactly.
Okay.
It's easier to make the money. You may not ever find out how many people saw it. It's not going to show up in the news articles. It's not like there are so many movies that get picked up by Netflix nowadays, and it just the market gets flooded. But I mean, all of those filmmakers are making money on their films.
Do you think though it's more profitable going to streaming and maybe to these networks because they could get more sponsorships?
Yeah,
like
it
commercial wise.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
because I mean, when you go to the theater, you're only really seeing movies that are coming out. So you're not seeing a Progressive or State Farm and car insurance commercial before you watch Roadhouse.
Yeah,
right.
Because if you want to be a director or writer and you're trying to go to Hollywood, let's say,
right.
Are we seeing like the days of that, like big budget films? I mean, there's still, the Paramounts, Lionsgate, and all that stuff. But are we seeing that? Like, are they taking a hit? Like, is it still real difficult even to do a big budget movie in Hollywood, or are people just saying, hey, we're going to cut this up into a series, episodes, or what's the
I don't know. I think it depends on the director and the production team and what they want. I think right now the answer is very unclear, and so it depends upon the opinion. For me, like if I were to release a film, I went to film school. That's something that I would like to be involved with someday, and I hope that the film that I release goes to theaters. I grew up going to theaters. I love going to the movie theater, sitting down with my popcorn. I hate that it's so expensive, but I still go. So
when you sit down, so Jerry, you do a film, so we're gonna budget this for X amount of dollars. Is that the same? Like, I know it's the same, but is it less expensive to do a budget and still have a good quality movie like on a Netflix? You know what I mean? Like, is the streaming, like, obviously the new trend, the way to go?
It is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you look at these movies that are going straight to streaming, I mean, they look big. Some of these do look big budget. I mean, you get a lot of like Netflix or something like that. You get a lot of these ones that look like they could have been B movies, with Steven Seagal or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Liam Neeson's came out with a lot of stinkers. They're all the same plot. I always take a nice road trucker. It's just they're all the same plot.
Yeah. Right.
But do you think that they're going to TV too because maybe of the negative connotation that Hollywood's gotten lately?
I think so. In a way, I think TV is the new film. I think I was saying earlier, it was like 10 years ago, we were watching TV on cable, and we would wait, Thursday night, Bones was on. My mom and I watched that every week.
Bones, wow.
We love Bones. But half of that episode is taken up by the story, to the cliffhanger at the end, and then the wrap up at the beginning next week. And they did that because they had to keep you hooked in the series. They had to keep you coming back next Thursday for the 5 ad breaks that they would do.
Sure.
And when you take all of that out and you just say, I want to pay for the best content that I can get, which is essentially what streaming is now, you give people and the artists behind it the freedom to use that entire hour for actual programming. And so it feels a lot more like film in the fact that it's a continuation of story. You don't get a lot of these like episodic cop shows anymore. Even if it is a cop show, they're more it's more of a season arc and not episode arc.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for you, Jared. Maybe you can.
I got a question too. Go ahead. I got a dumb question, I think.
But here's my question: why is it that why is it that Law and Order has been on for 30 some years, and you don't see any like really new kind of cop shows anymore, like before? You don't see your Starsky and Hutches or Chips or anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't see those. It's all kind of like that true crime. And I know true crime is very popular, especially in the podcast realm.
What do you get?
But I mean, you got like
Chicago
it's either Chicago PD,
Blue Bloods.
It's either that or it's Law and Order. You don't see anything new, so to speak. Is it because they basically take like real life stories, so it's easier for them to write?
It's easier for them.
That?
Yeah, I would think so. Jared, you can speak on that.
I think so. I mean, and you take a bunch of these series and you just move them to a new city and it's a new show, like NCIS Hawaii, NCIS New Orleans.
Right.
You go on.
Right.
But yeah. I think people love that stuff. Like my grandma watches Law and Order. I'm sure she's seen every episode like 7-8 times. She still watches it. Is it the fact that there are so many episodes that you forget? And then you have fun remembering watching it for the first time. I don't know. Is it this nostalgic factor of it?
Right.
I don't know. I think it has to do with the characters, but that's not. I mean, I see that, and I think that's more of a generational thing. To kind of call out what Sassy was saying the other day, it's like the way I see my parents and my grandparents rewatching the same shows over and over again. I catch myself falling into that sort of a thing. I've seen House probably a couple times. For whatever reason, I just pick shows and then I watch them over and over.
If it's
I'm doing that now.
If it's well written, you can. They're timeless. I could sit back and watch Sanford and Son, over and over and over. All in the Family. I get these kind of comedies. They're just timeless.
Right.
They are.
The Cosby Show.
Yep. Timeless stuff. So that brings me to this question, Jared. So what's the most important? You're a film guy, and this is probably a dumb question. I'm going to ask it anyway. What makes the entire what makes this series, what makes the movie? Is it the direction, the production, or the writing?
I think it's the writing.
Okay.
100%. I think I saw an interview with Bryan Cranston. He was talking about Breaking Bad and his role in it, and he said if you get as an actor, if you get C-level material from the writer, you can maybe take it up a grade level to a B-. But if you get A-level stuff, then you can take it to that A+.
Okay.
So there has been plenty of like badly written shows, or like Game of Thrones just like fell right off at the end because the writers just stopped caring.
Yeah. Because that was a big hit in the beginning, right?
Right.
Well, speaking of and last episodes that stunk, that one, and then people say The Sopranos last episode stunk. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to tell you the truth. I've never watched The Sopranos. Did you watch The Sopranos, Go?
I did. I didn't watch. I never seen the last one.
And you're a mafia guy.
Yeah, I didn't see the last episode. I didn't want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it. I watched it when it went off. I didn't watch it when it was live. I picked up on it when it was when it was over, when it was off the air, just on demand and watching it that way. But yeah, I liked The Sopranos. Sopranos was good.
Yeah.
Sopranos was good, but I didn't want to see. And then I heard that it was really, really bad. But a lot of these shows, the reason why I asked that question, because a lot of these shows started off great and then they just ended bad.
Yeah.
It got worse and worse and worse.
It shocks me that the writers of these shows don't think about the ending. When they
knowing that all their fans, and a lot of these shows have been on 6, 7, 10 years,
right.
And then they just give you this lackluster, like they don't take into account of, you have these people that are invested in the show that tape it, or like with me, it's like I remember when Walking Dead first came out. It was every Sunday. I had to be there. I wanted to watch it live. Me and the boys sat down and watched it live, and then you talked about it. But then, like a lot of these shows, man, nowadays it's like.
Have you seen this? Oh, no, I don't have that streaming service.
Right.
Right.
And I'm wondering if all these streaming services, here's my thing. I worked in cable for a long time. And everybody's thing was at the time is, I got all these channels that I don't want. I wish we could pick all this stuff a la carte. Well, now it's pretty much a la carte. And now in order to get this, you got to pay for that. And really, the cable hasn't gone down. Because by the time you're paying for all these streaming services,
Right.
you're paying what you would have paid for if you just had Comcast or Spectrum or whatever it is.
Well, we're never getting the deal.
No.
That's why the company's in business. That's why they make so much money, because they're ripping us off. We're not getting any deals because you have to get this to watch that. Just like football. You got to have this stream, and this stream, and this stream. You can't. It's not like 247
Right.
anymore. That's the whole thing.
How much do you pay for cable, Jared?
I don't have cable. I subscribe to HBO Max. I share that with my family. I have Apple TV from my parents, Netflix from my parents. Even though that's tricky, they're getting kind of
You're right.
smart about how many devices you have plugged in. And then I think I pay for Prime. I have Hulu through my Spotify account. And then I end up watching a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Okay,
But
so
that's definitely over $100.
that's easy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what
Easy.
I'm not even going to tell you what I pay for cable a month.
You mentioned, Jared. You mentioned Apple. So there's a new show there. I wanted to ask you. I've been meaning to watch it. Something about neighbors or something like that. It's called Know Your Neighbors, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I have not seen it, but I do. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Jared was talking about a new show with that's on Apple, and that was with Seth Rogen.
Yep.
It's a comedy about the studio.
Yeah, if you're interested in the kind of discussion we're having right now, go watch The Studio by Seth Rogen.
Okay.
It's the first episode kind of, he's talking about, he's a studio executive in Hollywood. He just got his job, and in order to keep his job, he now has to make a movie about Kool-Aid because the studio has acquired the IP to Kool-Aid.
Okay.
And so it's a sort of a commentary on the Minecraft movie, Barbie, the Lego movie, the Mario Brothers movie, and there's a scene in that movie where, or in the first episode, where they're like, you know what, he's trying to make artsy films, and the marketing team pushes back and says, well, Mario Brothers didn't get that, but you know what they did get? $1.3 billion.
Right.
So,
Right.
It's kind of the world we live in right now.
Seth Rogen. Okay. I'll check that out. I'll look at it. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on Apple, Hulu that I haven't gotten to. Apple, Hulu, what's the other one? And Paramount. They just did a reboot of Will and Grace.
I seen that. It actually was pretty good.
You saw it?
Frasier's reboot was good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I believe it didn't get picked up for a third season. But I guess from what I heard, they're going to try to shop it to another streaming service.
Okay.
Which I hope that it was just.
Yeah, it was.
It was a good show.
It was a pretty good show. It was a good show before.
Yeah. Was it as good as the original? No.
No,
but it
nothing,
was a different type of show.
Yeah, nothing's like, those classic shows that we had.
Jared, why do you think people want to rehash things so much? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like all these shows kind of rehash each other.
I mean, it's
like nobody comes up with like new ideas.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's only so much you can write about.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do in a sitcom.
Right. That's true too.
You know what I mean? Like Three's Company was a great show to me, but it's only so many skits and things you can do. So people, when you start a new show, you kind of you're looking at other stuff and you're saying, oh, this is funny. We'll just do it and put it in another way and use another character.
I mean, try to come up with a joke that wasn't made on The Simpsons already.
There you go.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yeah.
And I think the quality of the writing plays a big part in it too. Because some of the best shows had some of the greatest writing. Some of the greatest shows of all time had the best writers. So nowadays, like you said, you can just kind of put any little thing together and just to make a quick buck. There's a lot of it's no substance. It's just kind of easy fix. And that's why a lot of shows get canceled, you know, because you don't have to really be creative and think outside the box anymore.
Right.
And have good writers who, you know, support the show.
So what do you think? What do you think the best shows are right now?
Have you guys seen The Bear?
No. I have.
I love The Bear.
Nope. What is it?
It's did you see Shameless? Did you ever watch Shameless? Okay, the main Jeremy, what's his name? Jeremy White.
Jeremy Allen White.
Oh no, The Bear with the lady.
Yeah, no, him in the and there's a lady. He's a chef in Chicago.
Oh no, okay, not that. Okay.
That is there it is right there up on the screen. That is a great show.
Yeah.
I started.
Is that good?
I started binging it.
It's very good.
It's on FX.
It's on Hulu. Yeah.
Hulu
FX.
Hulu FX.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the mark of a really great show for me specifically, and this is very specific to me, is like the quality of the filmmaking too. Like beyond the writing, like just like how they can use the filmmaking to elevate it. There's this one episode in the first season of The Bear, I believe it's episode 7, where they integrate the online ordering system into their kitchen. And they shot it all in one take. It's a 24 minute long take, and it goes through the entire restaurant. They shot it for real. They memorized all of their lines, like a play, and they did that.
Wow.
It was quite impressive. I didn't even realize it when I first watched it. I had to go back. I saw a news article that said this episode was all in one take, and I couldn't believe it. I had to go watch it. But
The Bear.
Yeah, Bear's good.
Add another one.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, the Yellowstone side. And then Tyler Sheridan's coming up with some great shows. Lioness with Zoe Saldana and Landman with Billy Bob and Demi. We talked about that earlier.
Lioness. Demi Moore?
Demi Moore is in Landman with Billy Bob. And you know Billy Bob is great. I love Billy Bob.
Yeah, he's good in anything. Lioness, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman's in there with
And
Zoe
Zoe.
Saldana.
Okay.
Yeah, great show.
Okay.
And then
Richard Gere has a new one out too.
yeah.
Him and
Is that on Apple,
him and
Jared?
Wright. I think that's on.
Is that on Apple?
I think it's on Apple.
Richard Gere show, or
It's Richard Gere with
It's either that or
kid,
Prime.
The kid Wright. I think it's the good actor. I forget his name. Last name is Wright. He played in America's. It just was.
Well, there's a new one out with Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, the
Mobland.
Mobland. Yeah,
That's
one.
out. Yeah.
Yep, I watched the first one. Pretty good. I like Pierce.
I mean, what's the best movie you've seen right now out so far this year? What do you think, guys?
I only saw the movie that I did see that I was really, really anticipating to see. I just saw it last month. Was Alto Knights with De Niro. De Niro played Frank Costello and Vito Genovese.
Was it good?
De Niro was great. This was done by Barry Levinson. He did Bugsy. He did a lot of help with Goodfellas. It wasn't bad. If you're into the mob stuff like I am,
Okay.
it was just the story of them. That's all it was. It wasn't. It was just me watching De Niro play two characters. He played both characters,
Okay.
which was outstanding. He didn't, of course, it was De Niro. Yeah, Alto Nights. But it was just the true story of it didn't do well because it didn't add any. There was no surprises. I knew everything was going to happen because I know the history of these two.
Okay.
So it wasn't, it didn't surprise us. So they said he did well, but the movie didn't do great at all.
What about you, Jared? I mean, it doesn't have to be theater. It could be even streaming that you've seen.
I will say it's not the best movie I've seen in the last year, but it was the most memorable. Do you remember Megalopolis that came out? It was Francis Ford Coppola's movie. He released it late last year, and it was a mess of a film.
Really?
Awful. And so apparently he was trying to get it made for several years, and no one would fund it. And you think you take that as a signal not to make it. But he sold his winery.
Oh, he did?
He did to make this movie.
Are you kidding?
Uh-huh. And I went to the theater to see it. I will never forget that experience. It's the worst movie I've ever seen in the theaters, and I had a great time watching it and making fun of it.
Wow.
It was like a modern day or a futuristic type New York that they called New Rome. Every so often they'd start talking in Latin. At some point, somebody does a Shakespearean monologue.
So, and when did you see this?
Probably November.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there it is, right there. So nobody would fund it, right?
Right.
So why didn't he stream it?
Right.
When he had better success, maybe.
Because obviously nobody wanted to see it, even streaming.
I'm just saying, because when you go to the Hollywood guys, like at the old Hollywood studios, how they still make big budget movies, like why not? He's got enough. Why not stream it? That's
It cost $120 million to make.
Ouch.
Whoa.
It made $14.3 million worldwide.
Oh my God.
Only $4 million in the opening weekend.
Ouch.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a huge loss.
It received a cinema score of D+, the worst for a film with a budget over $100 million ever.
Is it worse than Waterworld? Did you ever see that?
My dad loves that.
Oh, you like that movie?
I don't, but my dad
Waterworld.
can't get enough
With
of it.
Costner?
Yeah. That was oh my God.
They say that was a stink. I seen that. It was kind of a stinker.
Add
Yeah.
Wild Wild West in there.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
No,
Waterworld was terrible too.
There's two
Wow.
movies I've seen that have been pretty good in the last couple of weeks. A Working Man with Jason Statham. Your typical Jason Statham movie, if you like action thrillers. That was good. And I seen G20 with Viola Davis, but I liked it better when it was called Die Hard.
Oh, okay. With her and
Anthony. Yeah.
So the other actor with the Richard Gere, Jeffrey Wright, he's in that with Richard Gere. I don't know what it is, but it just came out, some kind of thriller.
I think it's a series, isn't it?
It's a series, I think. Yeah,
The Agency.
The Agency.
The
Okay,
Agency.
yes, I'm looking forward to that.
I haven't watched that yet.
So you said, okay, so the Viola Davis movie, you didn't like it?
I'm not going to say I didn't like it. It just, to me, had very similar plot. Like
Again,
it could have been a combined of Die Hard and
White House Down or
White
something?
House Down, basically.
So that's what I'm saying. Most movies, they just recreate it.
Yep.
And it's just like really to be kind of, actors are the same. Most actors are typecast. Even the great ones. The great ones can do a little bit more, but for the most part, Tom Cruise is going to play the cocky guy. You know what I mean? He just does it well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Pacino at some point is going to be a gangster.
Right.
Pesci, Most of these guys do the same stuff, but the great ones can do a little bit more. You know what I mean? So Michael Douglas is always going to be the sneaky business guy with the girl, the hot lady or whatever, and but it's kind of all the same because you can only draw from so much.
But Jared, you are right when I sit back and I think about all these stars that are going to TV.
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon.
Bacon can do anything. Bacon's he's just good.
But I mean, you're just saying quite a few.
But he's done it in the past, too.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I think if you can put out better quality TV
On the
shows,
TV show, yeah.
Hey,
Why not?
Because a lot of these, wouldn't you say, Jared? A lot of these TV shows, these series that are out now, are very movie-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Very cinematic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cinematic. I agree with that. They are. Yeah, they are. And it's good to see, like, I want to see a good actor anywhere.
Exactly.
Whether it's TV or, movie. And I'm like you, Jared. I really like, when I went to see De Niro, I got the biggest bucket of popcorn. Mm-hmm. It was just it's just different from home.
Yeah.
I mean, I like home, but I like the theater because you can you can get the biggest soda, the biggest popcorn. You know what I mean? And you're sitting there relaxed.
Right.
In the theater with the big screen loud for about 2.5 hours. 2 hours, what it is. I still like that.
But and what I like about it is it's over after that.
It's over.
Most of the time.
Exactly.
Like now they're rebooting everything,
Yeah.
right? But like when I watch a TV show with a great actor, I'm committing to like the next year of my life. I'm gonna, or if I binge it, I'm like the whole week or into the next.
Right.
Sometimes I just want that 2-hour experience.
Right. I agree. So you're watching. What are you watching now? You said what are you watching
I'm
now?
watching The Studio.
The Studio.
Right now.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Shogun to come out. It was that Japanese series that they released last year. That was really pretty good. Mm-hmm. I just rewatched the first season of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
I have never
got into that.
Yeah, I loved it. It was like one of the first AMC shows.
It was awesome, Jared.
Yes.
Really, I never got into it.
And they shot it on 16mm film. Like, who does that anymore?
Like
not even 35.
To me, what got me like the first season. Going back to the 1st season, it was just amazing. And back in the day, when this kind of stuff came out, you didn't think that you thought maybe one season that's all you'll get out of it. Mm-hmm. This thing was on for what, 11 years, 10 seasons?
Yeah, well, it just ended like.
Yeah, it had a great
run. And not only that, it produced Fear the Walking Dead that lasted a long time, and then it's got a Daryl Dixon show that's very good, and then Dead City with Negan and Maggie. So it's produced some really, and The World Beyond. All of those were really good. But here's something: what do you think is too much when it comes to spinoffs?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
They had some Walking Dead members in New York, too, by the subway, walking throughout the subway.
Yeah.
They had that today. Yeah, I saw that. But, yeah.
I mean, now there is a, with those spinoffs, all of those they're pretty decent shows, good shows. I think it's kind of lost its mystique a little bit.
It's kind of hard to do spinoffs.
Like than the Walking Dead.
Right. I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of those actors, there's so many spinoffs with The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead doesn't have any film actors in it. All of those actors were in The Walking Dead, and that was their first big thing. Mm-hmm. So when The Walking Dead was over, that's all they were known for. And they tried to go to a different project, but
didn't do it.
Like you said, they get typecast. And so Daryl Dixon probably came back and was like, or whatever his character's name is, or the actor's name. And fine, I'll do a reboot. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
it's kind of hard to do spinoffs and be successful.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. I'm watching Matlock, Suits.
But Matlock really isn't Matlock.
I'm watching Matlock, Suits, and Godfather of Harlem.
I think Matlock, the name of that title was something to get people invested because Matlock was on. Because it has really nothing to do. It's nothing like the reboot. It's just to me.
No, it's nothing like the original.
Yeah, it's nothing like the original. Right. It's a great show.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
And Elsbeth, too. I watched that.
Elsbeth is good.
Elsbeth.
Is there any
Elsbeth.
good comedies out, sitcom comedies out anymore? You
No.
don't see them
No.
anymore.
No. I think the last one was Big Bang Theory,
Yeah,
maybe?
I was going to say that.
I think that was the
I
last
mean,
one.
witty,
Yeah.
kind of like Seinfeld.
That was well written. That was, you know,
Why do you think
smart.
Why do you think the comedy sitcoms have taken a dive? Is it just because they want to go more raunch, so they go to these streaming services like, Righteous Gemstones or Vice Principals or Eastbound and Down? Those. I mean, I wouldn't really consider those even like sitcoms, but you don't really see like some really. Before, when we were kids, man, it was like we wanted to watch Family Ties. We wanted to watch The Cosby Show.
Cheers.
Or something. Cheers. You don't see. Why do you think that is, Jared?
I mean, I think sitcoms are suited for cable television.
Okay.
Like that format is what bred sitcoms, 23 minutes and 3 commercial breaks. It's a highly structured format. When you think about every episode of Big Bang Theory, it has essentially the same kind of scenes in the same kind of order.
Gotcha.
But then also something that I've been thinking over the past 10 years is like economically, socially, politically, when things are at a low in terms of like division and people want to seek out kind of the extreme in their media, and so they're more comfortable seeing blood and guts when things are okay in their life.
Yeah.
But so I think that's why people gravitated away from comedy in the 2010s. But now in the 2020s, and especially after COVID, I think people are much more interested in comedy.
Okay.
It just doesn't happen to be around.
Yeah.
There's not as much of it.
not-
And now it's more of a dramedy. You're seeing more dramedies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of longing for a good sitcom. I mean, a good comedic sitcom.
Yeah.
Well written. That stands the test of time.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll see it.
The other thing, too, is people just rewatch that shit. Like, people rewatch The Office over and over and
Yeah, I
over.
rewatch
Yeah.
Seinfeld
Right?
every time.
It's like there's
Cosby
no
Show.
need for a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on. Cosby Show's on every day.
Yeah.
I watch it every time it comes on. Same with Seinfeld.
Yep.
Comedy Central. If it's on, I watch it. I'll even watch The Office every night. So it's already there. Like Fresh Prince is still on.
I wonder if if the intelligent comedies are just basically they're not. There's not any writers to write those anymore. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, because most of them
Like, it's a different time, though, like
that
George said.
wrote those shows are probably in their 70s, 80s now.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
You get your Conan O'Brien's that, he's great. He wrote episodes for The Simpsons and very witty. But you just don't get those intelligent comedies like Frasier
Yeah.
anymore.
A lot of them are doing, like, podcasts like this.
Okay.
They're investing their times in other things, and maybe that sitcoms aren't as, profitable. But I think the other thing that COVID brought us was like a work from home mentality. Mm-hmm. And if these comics and comedians can make a living just sitting in front of their camera,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Makes sense.
Probably the same amount of money,
Yep.
if not more.
Yep. Makes sense. Especially if you have the name for
Yeah.
it. So, yeah. Makes sense.
So is there any other thing before we wrap this up? Is there any shows out there that you say thumbs up, give it a try?
Not right now. The Bear, I can't wait for season 4. I just rewatch a lot of movies, though. It's like there's so many movies. If I had a nickel for every time as a film student somebody told me, you haven't seen that movie? Mm-hmm. I heard it 3 times this week already. And so, I don't know. I go on to Netflix. And Netflix has a lot of good stuff. Movies. I'll watch movies from the 90s, from the 80s.
Have you seen The Goonies?
I have not.
See.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, so I got
Yeah.
give me your favorite actors. Give me 3 of your favorite actors.
I want to hear this too, Jared.
And give me 3 of your favorite directors.
All right. I'll start with directors. That's much easier.
Okay.
I would say you got the guy that did Requiem for a Dream. Why am I forgetting his name?
I want to hear this.
I want to hear what Sassy has to say about that. I wonder what her actors would be.
What was it?
Darren Aronofsky.
Okay, never
He's
heard
done
of
a couple weird films lately. David Fincher has always been one of my favorites.
Okay.
Seven, The Social Network.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, believe it or not, probably I'm actually reading a book by him right now. The director of Spy Kids back in the day, Robert Rodriguez.
Okay.
He also did Sin City, and a few other films. His career has been really interesting for me to watch.
Okay.
If you didn't know, so Spy Kids, the series, it is a children's series.
Okay.
Yeah, my kids watch that.
And I love that series, but
Sure.
he essentially used that as a proving ground for the visual effects that he was going to do in Sin City.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's really interesting to watch it in that kind of a light.
Okay.
And then in terms of actors,
Could be male or female.
yeah,
I know who he's not going to say.
yeah, I am so sick of like. There are certain actors that show up in everything. I will say the guy in The Walking Dead, he's been, and he's also in The Accountant. I just watched that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, John Bernthal.
John Bernthal.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yes.
I love him.
Oh,
He was
wow.
in the he did the Punisher too.
Interesting.
The series. Yes.
Interesting.
But he's like the opposite of like a character, a person like Jesse Plemons. Do you know who that is?
It sounds familiar.
This guy, you've probably seen him before.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's in everything, and I'm like kind of sick of it.
Yeah.
But John Bernthal is also in everything. I'm not sick of it for whatever reason.
Well, that's because he makes good quality stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I figured they were kind of.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I enjoy actors from time to time. I don't think I have favorites just because they seem to come and go so quickly. I mean, I liked Jesse Eisenberg back in the day.
Mm-hmm. I
I liked Timothée Chalamet for a minute. Then he kind of got really popular. So there's plenty of actors that have come and gone. I like Jeremy Allen White, who's in The Bear. I think he was really good.
Okay.
at that.
And he was great in Shameless.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to check the bear out.
Joaquin Phoenix when he was in The Joker.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
yeah.
just some amazing work by him. So
Okay.
yeah, it comes and goes. I think it's per film for me.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
Well, you didn't say Halle Berry.
Oh yeah, man. Sorry. And Halle Berry.
Hey. It's my favorite, and well-deserved Oscar winner, Halle Berry. Got to say that, too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting, Jared. I, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't really get that, how he's deep into it. Like, that's serious.
Oh, I gotta
It's
say,
crazy.
so my favorite movie of all time, and it's so stupid. I love National Treasure. Like
With Nick Cage?
With Nick Cage.
Really?
I've
I
never
don't know
heard
why.
anybody say
I
Nick Cage.
like the generational gap here.
I love Nick Cage. And
Okay.
he's just such a weird actor. He does so many weird movies. I made this trailer in college that was just a mashup of all his weird movies, and it was called The Nick Cage Movie. And I just had a blast making it.
And he's
so
not
weird.
he's not bad.
No.
He's not a bad
No,
actor.
not
He's
at
really
all, not
very
at all.
But
good.
he
It's
always
just-
does
yeah.
it's just weird with him. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.